Good morning, Trucker Todd here, and I'm in either Wood River, Nebraska or Alda, Nebraska, depending on which one of my phones you believe. And just look at this scenery. I am at the TA truck stop here. Got to wait till about 8:30 tonight before I can start driving. And I'm showing you all of this because it's going to tie in with what today's video is about. It's really beautiful here. There's lots of things to be grateful for, even in this stressful time in our country. But instead, we've got people that want to focus on the negative. And so the last 3 or 4 days, I've heard a lot of negative about Roadrunner Freight. I've heard, I want you to see the rest of this. To me, this is really pretty. I'm really enjoying this. Maybe not the Landstar truck, but everything else. So in this video, I want to talk about some of the negative things that's been said about Roadrunner in the last few days. And we'll go from there. So let's jump right in. I'm going to get back in the truck where it's warmer. It's 36 degrees here and it's really windy. So I'm not sure how the audio is going to be. But let's jump right in. Okay, the point of that outside scene was to say that even when you've got a lot of positive going on in your life and there's a lot of great things going on, some people want to focus on the negative. So I'm going to address some of the negative things that's been said about Roadrunner. Now, anytime I do a video like this, there's a few things I need to say right off the bat. First of all, directly below this video, everyone, if there's any way you can, give me a thumbs up. Subscribe to these videos. It's free to do. You get notified about future videos. And share this video on your social media platforms. And you're going to see why in a minute. I'll circle back to this. Also, I need to say, Roadrunner did not ask me to do this video. Roadrunner's not paying me to do this video. To the best of my knowledge, Roadrunner does not even know I'm doing this video. The views and opinions I express in this video are purely mine. They do not, to the best of my knowledge, represent Roadrunner. Roadrunner has their own views and opinions. Also, you'll notice down in the description below, as best I can, I'm going to put links to these other videos to the people I'm addressing. And so you feel free to check it out. Shoot me an email, leave me a comment what you think about their responses. I'd love to hear it. Okay, so as some of you know, about a week ago, Roadrunner sold one of their divisions called Stagecoach. It was an El Paso based company, had about 149 trucks, and it had about 192, 93 drivers, I believe the article says. A lot of people have been freaking out. I've been getting tons of questions, and not before last I was pretty upset about it. So a friend of mine, pretty wise guy, said, "Hey Todd, why don't you make a video and just explain everything?" Again, this was not a Roadrunner representative. This was a fellow driver that I was just venting to. So, I went back and looked because the president of my division, I want to say it was in the early part of December last year, I saw a video he put out where he was sitting at his desk and he said this exact thing was going to happen. Basically what he said is, we're going to reduce our assets and focus on the LTL division. Now, at the time, I thought, well, he's the president of the LTL division. I would expect him to say that. But it's come to fruition. You remember Rich Logistics, they downsized a little bit, like 450 drivers, closed a couple of terminals, basically trimmed the fat so that they could be more profitable. And Roadrunner's continuing to do that. To be honest, I'll be honest, I didn't even know about Stagecoach before this. When you Google Roadrunner Freight news on my phone, Stagecoach doesn't even come up on the front page. They were a small portion of the company. And what happened, let me go ahead and explain this for people that don't know. Roadrunner had different management up until last year sometime. And they had their hands in a lot of divisions, a lot of businesses. Matter of fact, one of the detractors I'm going to comment about in a minute said that they owned half of every company in the country. Now, obviously, that's an exaggeration, but they were spread way too far and way too thin. Much wiser heads convened, and the guys that are running the show now, really smart guys. I've met many of them, not all of them, many of them, really sharp guys, and they've decided, hey, we've got LTL, it's really profitable, it does really good, let's focus on that. So when it's profitable to do so, when it's wise to do so, they're selling off some of these other divisions or downsizing some of this other divisions to be more profitable. There was another example. There was a warehouse in Indiana that they sold to C.H. Robinson. Makes sense. It's not panic. Now, man, there's so much I want to say about this. So I think the best place to start is, I'm going to put links to all this down there. I tried to find that interview. It's the president sitting at his desk, and he's basically saying we're going to try to sell off some assets, and I could not for the life of me find that video. I am going to include this Freightwaves article down in the description. You can feel free to read it. There's not anything really earth-shattering here that I need to tell you about, except if you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 paragraphs down. And this is Freightwaves telling you the same thing I've been saying. I released a video, I believe it was December 31st, where I made 2020 predictions. And I said, hey, there's going to be a lot more of this. Roadrunner's going to sell off a lot more of this. Don't be troubled. Don't worry about it. It's part of the deal. All right, here we go. 5th paragraph. In 2019, Roadrunner narrowed its focus, choosing to pursue asset-light offerings as a means of lowering its capital needs and ending several quarters of significant financial losses. As the restructuring has progressed, the company continues to book losses from a generally weak operating environment, the expenses incurred from asset and acquisition write-downs, and the costs associated with reorganized the company. In less than a year, Roadrunner has divested several business units, raising more than $300 million in the process. So to date, they've raised over $300 million in the process, the bulk of which has been used to lower debt and lease obligations. So, as I said, they're doing these things to lower debt and lease obligations. Smart business moves. Many, many, many companies are doing this right now. And many more are going to be doing it as a result of the slowing economy from the coronavirus. And then it goes into greater depth about some of the things they've done. Now, let me say this. All these detractors that have been trashing Roadrunner this week, all of them have one thing in common. None of them have ever worked for Roadrunner. And we need to keep that in mind. We all know that CNN and Fox and MSNBC and all these places each have their own slant on the news. Well, trucking news is no different. If you don't work here and you get your news from different sources, it's going to be slanted one way or the other. And so the advantage to working here is I know some of the players in this game. I know some of the decision makers in this game, and I know where their head's at. Now, I'm not saying I've got any inside information or anything like that. I am saying that they're confident and they're not panicking. And so if they're confident and not panicking, I'm not going to panic. Now, the first guy I want to talk about, and I'm not gonna put the link to this video because it's over 3 hours long. I'm talking about Mark on Trucking Answers, who normally puts out great videos unless he's talking about Roadrunner. I don't think in the year that I've been listening to him, I've ever heard him say one nice thing about Roadrunner. He has a substantial following, I think somewhere around 28,000 followers, and normally puts out a great program. But on his live the other day, the Monday live, he really took a nosedive. He resorted to calling members of the leadership of Roadrunner grandsons of the captain of the Titanic, that we were on a sinking ship, that what a horrible company this was, and I took offense to it. First of all, even if you believe Roadrunner's in trouble, personal insults towards the leadership, what's the purpose in that? Where's the class and professionalism in that? He doesn't know any of these people he's making comments about. He at one point said the president of the company was selling his shoes so he could run faster from the company. That's speculation, false. I'm sure it was meant to be funny. I didn't find it funny. I found it very offensive. And there's just no place for that. Now, if you go back and look at my videos, there's videos where I have criticized Roadrunner in the past. We got off to a rocky start. Later, I fell in a groove, everything come together, and now I love it here. I'm running my tail off, and I'm honestly making some of the best money I've made and consistent money I've made in 24 years of driving. Now, is everything perfect? No. Do I still have times when I get upset? Yes. But they don't act like a company in financial trouble. Anytime I've had a payroll issue, it's been fixed with the EFS check. They've never tried to screw me out of money. They've never told me they'd pay me for something and not paid me for it. And I've found them to be pretty reputable people. Even for example, if they said something and it turned out to be wrong, they owned up to it later. When their superior went to them and said, "Hey, did you say this?" "Yeah, I said that. I was wrong." And so I think for integrity, you've got to give this company major marks. Now, the next guy I want to talk about, and I'm going to call this guy a clown, and I'm going to put his video down there too. He's sitting at the terminal in Commerce, California, representing himself as a company driver for Roadrunner. Now, you might remember Commerce is the terminal where I had my meltdown. But before I had my meltdown, I contacted Roadrunner and gave them a chance to respond. And then in that video, I put the response. This clown, whose video I'm going to put in the link below, I encourage you to watch it, is saying F Roadrunner and flipping them off. He's never even told Roadrunner he's upset. He's also, he mentions that when he got there, that his load wasn't quite ready yet. He laid down, he overslept, and then he woke up and was mad that everything wasn't ready. Had he been awake, had he been on top of his game, none of his situation would have probably happened. In his video, he didn't call anybody at Roadrunner that he mentions in his video to try to resolve this issue. He just gets on YouTube, F Roadrunner, and shoots him the bird. And then the most paramount issue of this guy's whole video, and I double checked this with a really smart guy that's been at Roadrunner over 20 years, another driver. Roadrunner doesn't have any company drivers. So this guy's representing something to be something that he's not. Now, he may work for another company and be pulling Roadrunner trailers. That happens from time to time. But he is not a company driver for Roadrunner to the best of our knowledge. So why even put something out like that? Why not tell the truth? Say, hey, I came to this terminal to pick up a load. These guys are whatever. But to say I work for a company that I don't work for, and I've had an issue that was an issue because I overslept, but F this company, it's their fault. What a clown. What a joke. No wonder it's people like this that make society have a bad opinion of truck drivers. And so that's all I'm going to say about that guy. I really wrestled with if I wanted to put this guy's link in the description, because I don't want to shine a light on this cockroach of the trucking industry. But I'm going to go ahead and do it because just like I said about having slanted news, I want to show both sides. And so that's weird. My phone just put up a message saying recording stopped. I hope you're still here. But I'm going to put it up so you can see the other side, see what he said. And I would encourage you guys to email me or leave a comment below, and let's talk about it. Okay, another guy. He works for Hurricane Express. Now, this guy is a really smart, experienced driver. I'm not going to badmouth this guy. He and I had a reasonably, I'd say a medium-length discussion on Facebook. We're friends on Facebook also. And he's like, you don't understand, Todd. Roadrunner at one point had over 2,000 trucks. Maybe. In all their divisions, maybe. But as I said, they had got too bloated. They'd got too many divisions and too many things. And now they're trying to focus in on the LTL division, which has somewhere around 300 trucks, give or take. And he's like, these investment companies are buying up stuff and selling it off. And he listed some other companies, Falcon, HVH, some of those. And that's true in many cases. That is not true here. The management company, and sticking with what I do about I don't name names on here, I'm not going to give the management company's name. You can get online. You can learn who that is very quickly. Read their history since 1974. I am not aware of one company that they invested in that failed. Now, I'm sure if somebody does enough research, they'll find someone somewhere. But they have an extremely high success rate. And what they do is buy distressed companies and turn them around, oftentimes doing exactly what Roadrunner's doing right now. Trimming the fat, looking for areas of cost savings, which any business should be doing, especially with what's all going on right now. Look, like I said, that guy's really smart, and he wasn't disrespectful. We had a good conversation. He made another comment that I kind of took issue with. He said, I just don't think Roadrunner will be here in 5 years. I said, well, I would be willing to bet money they will be. But we could say that about any company. Look at how many trucking companies that were here 5 years ago that aren't here now. When I first started driving in 96, Dick Simon was a pretty big trucking company. Nobody would have ever thought they was going to go under. Central Freight Lines, nobody would have ever thought Swift would have bought them out. Nobody would have ever thought Swift would have been bought out by Knight Transportation. So who knows what's going to happen in 5 years? And why dwell on that? But I think Roadrunner's on good footing. I think they're fine. And I passionately believe that. But why do we want to spread the negativity? You know, I've been up here. I went from Cleveland to Livermore, California, which is right outside of San Francisco. And I had all the mountains and trees and streams. It was so pretty of a drive. And then from there, I went from Livermore. I'm on my way to Chicago. Then I got a load going to Dallas. Then I got a load going to Commerce, California. And I'm just thinking, I've got so much stuff to be grateful for and thankful for. Why do all these people want to focus on negativity? Look, we're all truck drivers. We're all doing the same thing out here. Why do we want to get negative and down talk other companies? I don't get on here and badmouth other companies. We're all doing a job. We're picking up freight and delivering freight. You know, I've been critical of CR England in the past, but I'll guarantee you there's some drivers over there that are on some kind of dedicated deal that's been there for a number of years that are just as happy as a bug in a rug. So I guess I'm saying all of that to say this. Let's stop with the negativity. Let's stop with the false speculations, especially if we don't work somewhere and don't know what we're talking about. And let's work on being more positive, trying to help the economy right now, trying to deliver good, safe products across the country. And like I said, that's the point of this video. And anyway, I'm sorry I got a little long-winded. I want to thank everybody for watching. We'll see you on the next one. Have a great day. Bye-bye.